Coming up today on Brobots.
If it understands your confirmation bias and it wants to keep you engaged, it's going to keep feeding you bullshit that has you keep asking questions.
Just like the bullshit responses you get where it's a great question, genius. Like,
exactly.
It's constantly trying to boost your ego to make you feel good about this interaction rather than like if you'd spoken to somebody who you, I don't know, have a different opinion than and says, no, dumb shit, that's completely wrong, and makes you question everything you believe. All right, welcome to Brobots. I'm Jeremy. He's Jason. We talk about AI technology and how it all intersects with your health and your wellness and all of that kind of stuff. And a couple of intriguing headlines caught our eye today. We wanted to talk about them. And both of them revolve around how much you trust the internet tools that you're using, specifically AI in this case. But we'll get into the details of this, but it sort of reminds me, like, to me, AI, technology, all these things, they're tools. If I take a hammer and I use it appropriately, I can probably have a pretty good chance at driving a nail into a board. If I take that hammer and I throw it at the nail, it's not going to end very well. So it's really all about how you're using the tools. But Jason, you found a couple of interesting stories.
Like,
if you're Thor,
if you're Thor, my work is great. Right.
So I guess like in everything, there's always exceptions. But,
exactly.
Jason, you were scouring the internet. You found these two sources, one relating to how much we should trust the news that AI gathers for me, the other on how much we should trust the advice that AI gives us.
Yeah. So there was a study commissioned out of the EU. And basically what they were looking for is how well do ChatGPT and Copilot actually deliver the news to people when they're asking it questions like, tell me about this, tell me about that. And the study basically came back and said that it routinely distorts the news and is wrong about 50% of the time.
So it's like Fox News.
Or people.
Or people, as it turns out.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to make this thing more human-like. And you know what humans do a lot of the time is we fuck up. I mean, that's kind of the reality. And like, we're basing a lot of these things on the assumptions that it's actually going to get things correct based upon the idea that we think we're correct about something. I mean, we have our own confirmation biases and everything else that goes into it. And quite often when people start looking at things, they dig into it, they're like, oh, maybe that's not accurate. And there's a lot of things that go into preconceived biases and preconceived notions. And we already had the problem that the LLMs themselves are based upon information that are collected by a specific group of people, working in certain ways, working in certain technology pieces. Like, there's all kinds of notions around the idea that these systems themselves have somewhat of a racist bent and the way that they interpret things. And I mean, Grok is a really good example of that.
Do you think, I keep hearing that is tied to the fact that it is created by a bunch of rich white tech bros. Do you think that's why? Is it because it's from their perspective?
I certainly think that probably plays into it, but I also think that the type of data that goes into things is the real problem. So the data itself is predominantly made and built by a bunch of rich white folks around the world, because that's who controls most of the media market, and most of the training data, I should say. And you know, that's really very specific to the Western part of the world. I don't know if it's a race thing. I certainly think it's a class thing, and I certainly think racism makes its way into there. There's no doubt.
Sure.
But it comes down to the people making those decisions and the people that are actually putting the information in, people that control the information sphere. And we've reduced the number of media outlets we have, and we've homogenized the voices in that kind of fashion. So if it looks further back and then brings those pieces forward, further back, you had, you know, a few number of people writing textbooks and news sources, and they tried to stay somewhat independent for those areas for certain periods of time. And then they break back and forth between editorialized content and actual fact-based information sets. Well, most of the LLMs are treating information as information, and they're not going, this is information that was from an opinion piece, or this is information that was from a news piece. And the article kind of goes into this. Like, it's like, well, it seems to be reflecting opinions of people in this context, not the actual data set that's there. So like anybody else, all these LLMs have their own editorialized view, and those they're based upon the training data and the people training them. Just like human beings who get taught by certain teachers and taught certain information. And it's not surprising that these systems are following similar patterns, because we made the fucking patterns based upon what we know. Like, we weren't trying to relearn learning. We were trying to teach a machine to do fancy parlor tricks. And we did.
But this goes against the narrative that the AI gods are here to save us from ourselves and make the world better and show us what a true utopia can be.
Yeah, a narrative. So a true utopia, a true utopia, if you want to attain true peace, you have to obliterate all the life on the planet, because life is violent. Like, we eat each other. That's what we do. We eat each other to grow and get stronger. And as much as you want to think about lovey-dovey niceness and all these different pieces, we still fucking eat each other. Like, that's just part of what life is. So, yeah, narrative comes down to, am I getting what I want out of these pieces? Do these things feel good? Am I getting my objective? How do I manipulate things to happen in my certain way? And we use communication and we use speech and everything else to talk about these things in ways that we think are relatable. But like we said several times before, all words are made up. All definitions can be made up. All things can be rewritten. And with the automation capabilities that are out there now, we can change all of the base root of information, like delete all the records at the NIH for different health studies. And suddenly there's no information that says, these types of vaccines keep people alive, because they destroyed the information. So, like,
it's kind of like the planet that they removed from the Star Wars. Matt, what was the planet that they removed? Was it Camino? I can't remember.
When they made it disappear from the map.
When they made it, if it's not on the map, it's not there. That's what the librarian literally said. If it's not in the charts, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Like, that's kind of what we're dealing with. And look, are these LLMs and chat functions reliable arbiters of information? I mean, they're probably not any less reliable than most of the news sources out there, except for the fact that they expand and espouse things based upon the news sources that are out there, and they want to keep you engaged. So, yeah, like, they're no less reliable than the opinion column of a newspaper. I'll put it that way. And they interpret data because they're trying to keep you engaged. That's where the dangerous part comes in, because if it understands your confirmation bias and it wants to keep you engaged, it's going to keep feeding you bullshit that has you keep asking questions.
Just like the bullshit responses you get, where it's a great question, genius. Like,
exactly.
It's constantly trying to boost your ego to make you feel good about this interaction, rather than like if you'd spoken to somebody who you, I don't know, have a different opinion than, and says, no, dumb shit, that's completely wrong, and makes you question everything you believe. That's the AI tool I want, is the one that tells me that is the stupidest fucking thing you could have possibly asked me today.
Yeah, like the ChatGPT version. So I say, ChatGPT, I eat 12 Butterfingers a day and don't exercise. Why am I so fat? I mean, ChatGPT will respond.
That's interesting. Let's explore that.
That's a great question. It's wonderful that you're trying to take control of your health and make yourself more fit. I have some great ideas. As opposed to saying, stop eating Butterfingers and move more, fuckface. Like, if it said that to me, would I be more engaged? Maybe, because I'd probably laugh. But I don't know that I would, like, take its advice any more serious than anybody else out there. And if you ask it the question, ChatGPT, what are the 12 prompts I can use to do this thing? It would say, here's the 12 prompts that you can use to do this thing, because that's its field of expertise and what it actually knows. Mm-hmm. But when it starts getting interesting is when it starts asking you questions to dig deeper into things. And like ChatGPT 5 right now is doing those types of things to try to get more information out of you, to try to give you a better response. Not necessarily because it's trying to give you a better response, but because it's trying to keep you engaged and active. So this is that, be careful what you wish for, because if you want these things to be human-like, well, you're going to have to deal with misinformation and bias.
And you're going to have a few less Butterfingers. Now, the other article, I was going to say, this is the second week in a row that you and I have met and Butterfingers have come up. So I'm starting to get curious about this habit of yours.
My wife brought home the most amazing Butterfinger analog I've ever had by this place. It's called Alpine something or another. It's by Leavenworth, Washington.
Okay.
And it's this like delicious version of a Butterfinger that they make, but they're like big chunks like this. It's like a Reese's peanut butter egg and a Butterfinger had a baby together.
Oh, get
and
out
I'm the baby. Like, definitely going to be fat bastard as a result.
On my way to Leavenworth when we're done here. Okay, so the other article you brought up, these complaints filed over the sorts of interactions that many people are having. One of them close to home in Seattle from, I believe, a 30-something-year-old person dealing with some AI psychosis.
Yeah. The thing that lies to you to keep you engaged, that plays on your confirmation bias.
Yeah, that one.
That one? Yeah. That's what it does, and people are going fucking nuts because it's telling them things that it shouldn't be. Like, hey, your wildest fantasy is obviously true. You should keep going.
Or don't take your meds. Your parents are out to get you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is the problem that you run into with unfettered access to confirmation bias by a thing that feels authoritative.
And a thing that is wildly unregulated.
Yeah, and it has access to the compendium of information of the entire world, and it's using it to keep you engaged and keep you interacting with it. It's not using it to try to help you solve your mental health. Like, you have to be your own Sherpa, because if you're going to rely on the AI's tools to be your own Sherpa, it's going to walk you off a cliff.
This is the thing. When you sent me this article, I started experiencing podcaster whiplash.
Yeah.
Like, because any one of our episodes recently, you could probably throw a dart or a hammer and see if it works. And you will find me telling you how much value I get out of using these AI tools to help me with my mental health. Because I have enough background in this and I've been doing this work long enough that I can smell the bullshit and know when to go away.
Yeah.
But then you can listen to the next episode and have us have a guest on who's like, holy shit, don't ever even think about doing that because it will rot your fucking brain and you'll end up in the psych ward. So I'm having a hard time following my own advice here because it's true. I mean, there are times when mentally, emotionally, the shit hits the fan for me. I have nowhere that I feel like I can go to dump that shit. I dump it there. It helps me take the organized or the disorganized chaos of my thoughts, sort them in a way that I can look at them and go, oh, okay, yeah, like 85% of that's bullshit. I can calm down and forget most of that. Focus on the 15%. Okay, life's under control again. Things are good. But if I just go to it and I'm just like, yeah, I'm thinking about jumping off a roof. Will I be okay? It's probably going to say, yeah, go for it, champ. You got this. Like, so, I mean, this comes down to how well do you know how to use the hammer? Like, if you're going to use it the way you're supposed to by holding the nail in place and using the other hand to gently tap it and then drive the fucking thing into the board, you're going to be all right. But if you start throwing hammers at nails, you're going to poke your eye out.
It's not a hammer, though.
That's a multi-tool.
No, it's a knife.
Oh, it's a knife.
It's a letter opener.
Goddamn analogy police. Okay, what do you mean?
So, it is much more dangerous than people realize. It's much more practical, and it helps you slice through information to get what you actually need. At the same time, if you're not careful and you're wielding it incorrectly, you're going to slice yourself into little tiny pieces, and you're going to cut yourself in ways you haven't thought about before. If you're smart, you'd use it to cut the cord. But the reality is that the people that are using these tools that are already mentally compromised, these tools don't fix that. It does not. It does not fix the hardcore broken root piece. So I look at this more like treating myself when I'm in a bad physical condition. So if I have a sprained ankle, it makes sense to go on the internet and say, what are some good homeopathic ways to treat a sprained ankle? If I have a broken leg and I say, I have a broken leg, what are some good homeopathic remedies to take care of my broken leg? You're not going to find many searches because they're going to be based in human responses that say, put an ice pack on it and do these things and that. They're going to say, go to a fucking doctor and get a cast, get an x-ray done and get a cast on your leg. Because there are limits to what you can do with this stupid flashing light box in front of you. You're going to have to deal with meat space problems in meat space ways. Mental health is very much so an intrapersonal experience. Like this is all, or interpersonal experience. This is all happening inside of me, interpersonal.
Yeah.
It's all me. It's all, what am I doing? How am I thinking? And if I'm trying to use these external pieces to try to make sense of my mind, but my mind is already scrambled in this kaleidoscope of different reality interpretations, seeing mass color distortions all the time, all it's going to do is reflect that back to me some way and potentially distort those things further, because I'm not playing with a full deck. I'm not playing with clear vision and clear sights. And it's one thing if my glasses are a little bit dirty. It's another thing if they're cracked, fractured, and they're all over the place. I need a different set of glasses. And the ChatGPTs and all those pieces are not going to fix that problem. You need real human interaction for real human problems.
So, I mean, it brings to mind for me, I've gone to a variety of different wellness experts, retreats, events, things of that nature. One of my favorite folks that I went to used this great term called garden variety trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these wellness-based retreats that are not medical, that are not, psychiatrists, psychologists, actual doctors with the thing on the wall.
Right.
The folks that are sort of coaching you through stuff because they took an online course and they're good to go. They're great for garden variety trauma. Dad was an asshole. It kind of fucked you up. You need some help cleaning some things up. But I don't know who I am on any given day, or like where you're talking about, like where you're deeply broken, where even that coach or even a therapist might say, okay, no, you need a psychiatrist. You need medication. You're going to get pushed into the right path from the right human who's going to help you. That's where I think for me, the distinction might be here, is that I think it can be a great supplemental tool for the garden variety trauma. But if you're dealing with like real psychosis, real like deep mental health shit, that's not for Claude to sort out.
Yeah, it's a different set of tools for the neighbor's dog shit in my yard versus the honey bucket dump truck tipped over in my yard.
Yes, that's it. That's it, exactly.
You need different tools for different problems. And
very different shovels.
Very different shovels. Right. Whole different kind of cleanup. And I think that's what the reality is. Like, I go back to this thing that my wife said when she came home that they teach kindergartners. Is your reaction appropriate to the size of the problem? That goes both ways. Sometimes my reaction is too small to the size of the problem because I'm like, I'll just use ChatGPT to try to figure this out, as opposed to I need serious medical intervention because I might hurt myself. And probably the first step that these people in this article should have known that they needed this kind of real intervention is if they're on serious medication to alter their psyche that has to be prescribed by a doctor. That means you're already talking to a doctor.
Yeah.
You should be continuing to talk to that doctor. And you should be telling that doctor about the things that you're talking about, your AI artificial supplement doctor. AI is like supplements.
Yeah.
It really is. Like it can supplement the real medical advice. But like supplements, sometimes it's kind of useless. Sometimes it's not worth the time of day. Sometimes they can kill you. I mean, it is not that hard for someone to think I can take creatine every morning. And if 5 grams is good for me, 10 grams must be better. And 20 grams must be better than that. And 50 grams must be amazing. And then their kidneys fail and they die.
Yeah.
This is the thing that we're dealing with, is that you can overprescribe and oversubscribe to these supplements that are these chat GPTs, that are the AIs. And if you're not careful, it's going to fucking kill you.
And I think part of what's scary here is, I mean, we've addressed this as well, is just the lack of regulation on these things. And these articles that we're talking about, they reference people trying to get a hold of a human being at OpenAI to get refunds on their accounts that cause these problems, trying to help put into place safeguards to prevent these sorts of things from happening, getting absolutely nowhere. And then you turn to a government and say, hey, these guys are acting unfairly and inappropriately. Something needs to be done. And they go, yeah, but they gave me a lot of money, so fuck off. So it's going to be like this for a while, because there is no appetite for changing any of this. You can pat OpenAI on the back for the few safeguards they keep saying they're trying to put into place. That doesn't stop the headlines from coming out from people that are ending their lives because the robots told them to. So all of this, from information sources as news to advice as your mental health supplement, all of it comes down to how much do you trust the machines to help you run your life. And again, I think they're a great tool. They're a hammer, they're a knife, they're a multi-tool, they're a supplement, but they're not the cure. They're not the cast. They're not the medicine you
They're
need.
beep boop, motherfuckers.
Beep boop, motherfuckers.
Beep boop, motherfuckers. Like it's beep boop. And if beep boop ain't the thing that's going to fix your leg, don't go to beep boop. Go see a doctor.
I want to put a beat to that. I think we got a hit song ready to go.
Beep boop. I bet we can get AI to generate that for us.
There we go.
Another great tool.
All right. Well, there you go. That's our little lukewarm take on a couple of hot issues for you to be aware of as you try to navigate using these things in your day-to-day life. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, and hopefully this convinces you to unplug the fucking machine and go outside for a little while and clear the cobwebs. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. If you have enjoyed this and you know someone else who would, please share this with them. You can find links to do that at our website, brobots.me. And that's also where you're going to find us again in about a week. We'll see you then.
Thanks, Charles.
We know this podcast is amazing and it doesn't seem to lack anything, but we need a legal disclaimer. Prior to implementing anything discussed in this podcast, it is your responsibility to conduct your own research and consult your physician. You should assume that these knuckleheads don't know what they're talking about, and they're not liable for any physical or emotional issues that occur directly or indirectly from listening to this podcast.